got any mess, good my boy.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. I love Superman. I mean, the dude can fly, shoot lasers out of his eyes. He's kind, likeable, and inspires you to be a better person. And with his commanding presence and uncompromising altruism, it's easy to see why he's remained so popular over the last nearly 90 years. And since Warner Brothers have practically fucked up the last DC universe, it's up to James Gunn to help restore faith in the fans with his new DC universe.
Oh man! Oh God! Oh man!
But can he deliver?
No.
Well, slutty drunk supergirls and dorky-haired Green Lantern gentlemen, this is Superman 2025. Dum, 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 dum. Superman sees, well, Superman / Clark Kent, played by David Corenswet, who's spent 3 years showing everyone how awesome he is with his heroics, which we don't see at the beginning and is mostly through written exposition that is really lame.
This movie's gonna suck.
And then later on, after taking a huge CGI whatever, it turns out Lex was using this as a way to distract dear old Supes to locate and infiltrate his fortress of solitude. And he has also uncovered a broken message from Superman's dad, Jor-El, and has somehow translated it, despite the fact Superman's more advanced Kryptonian technology in the Fortress of Solitude failed to fix it. Either way, the message states Jor-El wanted Superman to conquer Earth. Wait, what? Jor-El is Jor-El? Wait, what? Fuck you, James Gunn. What's next? Thomas Wayne was on the island you visited, Mr. Gunn. But I digress. Now Superman has to earn the faith and trust of the people suspicious of him, while also trying not to get sidelined by other characters and other bollocks that convolute the plot.
This movie's gonna suck.
Well, The Man of Steel was a downright boring, soulless misery fest that wasted a great cast, including the always likeable Henry Cavill. This is a better feel-good yet convoluted, tonally inconsistent joke fest that also wastes a good cast.
Fuck! Motherfucker!
This is the film that Warner Brothers seriously needs to help them get back on track with DC, and if this is their redemption, I'd hate to see how they fuck things up. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's downright awful. It's just mid-right awful. And I say that because you can tell there is still a good movie here trying to come out. The casting is strong, there is a feel-good energy displayed on screen. And there is a feeling of hope and optimism, which is a huge improvement on Snyder's bleak version, which was just moping, punching people through buildings, trying to be emotional without giving us anything to make us care about these characters and what they were going through. So, how does the cast fare? Well, David Corenswet does bring a likeable innocence to the role as Superman / Clark Kent, and he does play the part with some genuine sincerity. He sells the kindness and actually makes people's safety his #1 priority, unlike Man of Steel, where Superman was neglecting people dying in toppling buildings because he was too busy punching Zod into buildings for the people. Sorry, Cavill, you deserved better. Christ, the guy even tries to foolishly convince his enemies into redeeming themselves, which does feel like a Superman thing to do. But there is a lot wrong with his performance, which I will get to later. Rachel Brosnahan is very charming as Lois Lane, and despite a rocky start, which could have been executed better, she does actually improve. She's strong without girl bossing, convinces as a spunky reporter, is supportive of Clark when it's looking like his faith has been shaken, and she and Coin Sweat do have some good chemistry. Sally Gazondi brings the geeky charmers Jimmy Olsen, Eddie Gafagi fucking rocks as Mr. Terrific, showing to be both badass, likeable and funny, as well as being the most developed of the Justice Gang. Even when he's given dumb gags, he handles it with some real gravitas. And credit where it's due, despite its goofy nature, there were some dark moments that made you sympathise with Superman. Metamorphose also very endearing. Even the scenes with Clark and Park Kent are quite touching and was one of the few emotional moments that didn't get jeopardised by a fucking stupid gag. And yes, Krypto is adorable. He just appears when the plot needs him to, but fuck it, he's so adorable. Krypto, little doggy. But sadly, this doesn't stop this film from being a huge mess with too much getting thrown in without any proper context and creative ideas that are downright questionable. Like Jor-El sending a message to Clark to be F's dictator, which is a complete insult to the character and the sacrifices made for his son.
It's so dumb.
Say what you like about Man of Steel, Jor-El, but he was still a righteous man trying to save his son from his dying home to bring hope to another world. And I guess it was probably a new way to add some emotional weight to Superman, but this is still a middle finger to a great character. If it was revealed at the end it was Lex Luthor manipulating the footage, it would have made more sense without ruining him. Not only that, there's way too many superheroes getting thrown in too soon, and this is the first in the new DCEU, and instead of allowing us to get to know all these characters in their own movies, the new DCU is now repeating the mistakes of the DCEU by cramming in more characters too soon. Say what you like about Man of Steel, but at least it started out just as a Superman movie before it started throwing in way too much too soon with the next installment. In fact, that war Superman stopped in the exposition dumped description at the beginning should have been the actual plot of this movie. A smaller contained story that gave us time to reintroduce us to this character and this universe would have been the smarter option. And it would have given us more context into Lex Luthor's developing obsession into taking down Superman, then introduce the Justice League gang at the end and use the plot of this movie as the sequel. But not only that, a lot of the familiar characters feel flat. Remember the grouchy but still likeable Perry White? Well, he's just there. Remember Hawkgirl in the animated series? Tough, brave, and carried that dark secret that threatened her relationship with the Green Lantern. Well, she's just there. And she's too cool for school. Remember Miss Teschmacher, who, despite being Lex Luthor's mole, still had some smarts as well as a vulnerability. Well, she's a fucking dumb, annoying airhead wannabe influencer taking selfies. And remember Supergirl, a naive but sweet teen who also wanted to do good but still had a lot to learn. Well, here's James Gunn's improvement on that character.
I just smoked the wrong side of a cigarette! Who wants to go swimming? Oh, this song is about me!
It doesn't help that the movie starts with Superman beaten, only to get repaired, try to fight the Ultraman guy, get beaten up, then give up.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Not only that, after a confrontation with Lex Luthor goes tits up, he just sits moping in his apartment while an alien is outside causing chaos, and his excuses, the Justice Gang are handling it. No, fuck off. Superman would be out there no matter how bad he had fallen or how bad he feels, even with the Justice Gang not keen on his help. And it's during the scene where Lois Lane is inspiring Clark not to forget who he is, and its motive to bring emotional weight is ruined by him sitting there while a fucking enormous being is causing trouble.
This is stupid! This is stupid! 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 Stupid!
Nicholas Hoult is wasted as Lex Luthor, playing him as just a one-note nut. 50 steps back from Michael Rosenbaum and Clancy Brown, who actually brought their own brand of charm as well as adding layers to their portrayal of the character.
You've come to gloat. You've tried to get rid of him for years. Are you happy now? I hate you! I hate you!
Believe it or not, I'm going to miss him too.
How did Clark not hear that the Fortress of Solitude was being breached? Lex didn't set that CGI thing on the city till later. How is a man-made technology like nanotech able to take down a Kryptonian that is impenetrable to man-made tech? Why didn't Lex Luthor take samples from Metamorpho to synthesize kryptonite into making weapons to kill Superman? Which would have made more sense than nanotech. Why is Jimmy Olsen this pussy magnet? How come people were so quick to confirm the authenticity of Jor-El's take over the world message without a proper thorough investigation? Why is Peacemaker in this movie? Wasn't he part of the last failed DC universe?
These timelines are so confusing.
But lastly, as much as I like David Corenswet in the role, he never comes across as someone with a commanding presence. He looks uncomfortable in scenes where he shouldn't. He plays the role more like a naive teen with no emotional maturity. He allows himself to be emotionally compromised.
The dog, Luther! You took the dog! People were going to die! Loud noises!
Remember in the first Superman when he confronted Lex without resorting to screaming? Or the animated series where he didn't need to say a fucking word? Yeah, I know Lex kidnapped his dog, but Jesus Christ, there was a way to deliver the scene without making him look like an over-emotional, weak pussy. Even when he delivers his speech on being human, he never does it with a calm, confident delivery. He delivers it like an over-anxious boy. Ah, God, it was so cringe. And I don't blame Corenswet. Gunn is the one directing him, and an actor needs to put his trust in the director to help him bring out the best performance he can. But sadly, he's directed to come across awkward, and that should not be the case. He's a character that needs to be portrayed with some confidence, as well as some authority. Superman is practically the leader of the Justice League, and I don't see that in Corenswet's performance. He's doing his best, but has the burden of being directed by a guy who doesn't know how to fucking tone it down. Anytime it looks like there may be some potential emotional gravitas to a lot of scenes, Gunn somehow has to throw in a gag. Jesus fucking Christ. Imagine if Gunn directed this scene from the first Superman.
Where'd it tick? That means I'm single again!
Yeah, the good Superman movies could be goofy, but they knew when to dial it back. Christ, the first movie was written by Mario Puzo, the same guy who did The Godfather, because he and Richard Donner knew the character still had to be taken seriously in order for it to work. James Gunn is not Mario Puzo or Richard Donner. Superman isn't Star-Lord. Not every superhero needs to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not every comic book movie needs to be the fucking Suicide Squad. That style of humour worked well for those movies, but here, all it does is rob the character of his integrity and dignity. Even the usually charming Nathan Fillion is wasted, which shouldn't be the case, as this is a very likeable actor who's always able to elevate even the shoddiest scripts. But he did get a kick-ass moment at the end. And oh yeah, the CGI is fucking awful and unconvincing, and Christ, you'd think after over 30 years since Jurassic Park it would have gotten better. But that said, do we really need another DC universe? We already have one, and it's good. No, I mean this. For something aimed at kids, the writing was actually mature. It never talked down to its target audience. It never talked down to kids. And yet somehow this comes across less mature and more childish than the stuff written for actual fucking children. So overall, while it is better than Man of Steel, and there are some genuinely heartfelt moments that do prevent this from being the worst Superman movie ever, it's bloated, rushed, unbalanced, with some questionable creative choices by a creatively misguided man who, despite being hailed as the new saviour of the future of the DC universe, may have wound up being its kryptonite.
Dum, 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 dum.
And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern, English or not, thanks for watching, and do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and to ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support this channel, then the links are in the description below. But right now, that's me done, and I'm off to the pub.